Hello everyone, and welcome to another replay analysis slash matchup analysis. I'm Mystic Juicer. I'm playing Rook on the left-hand side, and this is a match, or a series of matches, I played against Mad King, his Quince, in the International Yomi League. This is, Quince is a very complicated character. Lots of moving parts, lots of stuff to manage, and as a result, I don't have a ton of experience playing against him as Rook, or as anyone for that matter. So a lot of this is going to be me trying to figure out some, to spot maybe some mistakes that I made due to unfamiliarity, and I'll try to walk through, again, my reasoning play by play as I go. So before we start, just a couple of words about Quince's tools and how they interact with Rooks. For a more thorough look at what Rook is all about, I will have a link to a guide that I wrote that's featured on the fantasystrike.com forums, and I'll touch on some other elements, but if you want a more in-depth look at his tools, that's the place to go. So without further ado, what makes Quince so tricky? So he's a fairly high health character, 90 hit points, so it's going to be a longer game, especially with Rook's damage output being fairly low in comparison to some other burst damage characters. The thing that makes Quince particularly tricky is his positive spin ability and his Patriot Mirror ability, which is on his ace. So positive spin says that if he deals damage, either with an attack or a throw, or he deals block damage, he can reveal a face card from his hand, and if he combat reveals that card, he can spin it. And so his face cards are have really different results and sort of risk-reward relationships. His J is his least risky option. It's an attack on one side and a dodge in the other. His Queen is a slow attack on one side and a throw on the other. And his King is a slow throw and a dodge on the other. So the trick to the first obvious thing to say is that, assuming that Quince is being honest, he shows us a card and then reveals it next turn, there's always a counterplay. There's always a move that you can reveal that's going to counter that particular play. So if he reveals a J and is going to play it next turn, a dodge will keep you safe, because no matter which side he spins to, the best he can do is deal 2 chip damage. With his Queen, any attack that's faster than a 7.2 will beat both sides. It'll beat the throw and outspeed the attack. And the King, any throw of speed faster than 9 is going to beat it. That's assuming that he's honest. And everything about Quince in terms of positive spin is, because there's only one option to reveal that'll keep you quote-unquote absolutely safe, it incentivizes him to essentially mind game you. So it puts you in a predictable state if you continuously respect and trust in Quince. So he reveals a J, you put a block down, he throws you. The throw is a much higher value. He doesn't get to spin the throw or do anything special with it, but the throw is much higher value because you are, if you are indicating to Quince that you're believing his setups, that he's going to reveal what he actually pretends he's going to reveal. So there's some interesting stuff there. So essentially, if he reveals a J, the mix-up is a throw, assuming that you're both standing. If he reveals a Queen, the mix-up is either a block or dodge to deal with your attack, or a fast attack, because if you truly believe that he's throwing a Q, this is a good time for you to play a high normal in order to get big damage out of it. So he can either undercut you or dodge your attack and respond with his own. And the King will open you up to an attack. So because you can only beat it with a throw, Quince can reveal any attack and deal with that way. So at a very basic level, that's kind of how those moves work. His ace has a single ace side at 2.8 speed that deals 10 damage and knocks down, and that allows him to use the Patriot Mirror ability. So if you either deal damage or block damage with that side of the ace, the 2.8 speed side, you can, instead of doing that spinny trick, he can actually just play 2 combat cards next combat. So he can do one or the other. He can either reveal a face card and spin it, or he can play two combat cards in the next combat. And that's him set up really, really powerful mix-ups. So he can, for instance, especially since he knocks you down when if he actually connects with it. So tricky stuff there. There's a couple of different setups that you can do. Mad King wrote an incredibly useful Quince guide, which I'll also link to in the video description, that goes into different kinds of details. I'm not going to walk through every single setup that there is, but generally the kinds of setups that you can expect to see, the least risky setup is a normal attack, odd or even normal attack backed up by a dodge, especially on knockdown, because that will have a 50-50 chance. It'll deal with every conceivable option, and the worst thing that can happen is he runs it into your block. So because you're knocked down, you can only block even attacks with even blocks and vice versa. So if he guesses correctly or you guess wrong, he's going to be able to follow through and deal combat damage. If you throw, his attack beats you, and if you counterattack, the dodge beats you, and he's able to continue the spin. So that's all I'll say about that for now. So I'll talk through the different setups as they occur, and sort of why I think he's revealing them, and what my reasoning is for the reveal that I choose. Finally, Quince is a very slow character. His fastest moves, as you can see, other than his AA, which I'll talk about next, is a 2.6 J and a 2.8 Ace or 2. So one of the slower characters. He doesn't have, like Rook, he doesn't have a true reversal. Rook has a 0.8 speed ace, double ace attack, so that's again the fastest attack in the matchup. Quince's AA is very respectable. You can pump it with a third ace to deal 30 damage. It's an ender, so you can conceivably, do a setup, a Patriot Mirror setup where you connect with a normal attack and then combo into it. It's also very quick, allowing him to undercut everything that isn't AA from Rook. A couple of different things in how they interact. So one thing is his Patriot Mirror, so his single ace attack knocks down. So that's a good counter to rock armor setup, so it's something you have to be aware of as Rook. That'll just shut them right down. His Queen, the 7.2 attack, also knocks down, but it's only really a concern for attacking with a 10 or an 8, or with a 7, but you very rarely attack with a 7 unless you're mixing up. So it's less of a concern, and it's a very slow combat reveal, so I haven't seen it used as a straight combat reveal unless it's backed by some sort of Quince mind game setup, so generally not too much to say about that, but it is something that can ruin your rock armor attempt as well. His normals, because a very strong ability of his is on his 2, he's never going to combat reveal that. Unless, I can't imagine a circumstance where the 2 would be revealed. So his fastest his fastest normal attack is a 3, He doesn't have 1 on a 4, and then he has 5, 6, 7, so he can do a 5, 6, 7 straight. So generally, especially against Rook, again, just like with Vendetta, the only fast normal that your king can catch is a 3, and you're probably not going to see that revealed very often as a result, especially since one of Quince's many dodges is on that 3. I say many dodges. He's also never going to use the 2 as a dodge unless some incredibly crazy thing happens, because the ability on that card is just too valuable. So speaking of his abilities, he has 2 of them. One of them lets him, both of them get him more cards. 2 Truths gets him cards back from the discard pile, as well as some from the top of his deck, and then you have kind of a little valuation game. He puts them in 2 piles in front of you, and you have to pick which one you give him, which is an interesting ability to deal with if you don't really know the matchup and what his game plan is, because you can end up giving him incredibly valuable cards. Generally, you want to deny him face cards, you want to deny him his jokers, and you want to deny him pairs, because that is just a free ace that he can search for. And then finally there's Flagstone Tax, where he declares one of the 4 combat options: attack, block, throw, or dodge. And if his opponent combat reveals that option on the turn, he's going to get to draw 2 cards for free. These are often used in, Flagstone Tax is often used in conjunction with his spin turns in order to try to further influence your behavior. So, for instance, if he reveals a J, he may declare, he may tax blocks or dodges, so that the safe option to the J is also going to benefit him. He's going to draw cards if you reveal it. And then you can go further and further into mind games where you do that, but then you reveal something that counters the safe option, so you're getting essentially a double punish. So I'm going to reveal J, name blocks, and assume that because I've named blocks, I want to get, I'm sort of hedging my bets there, but now I've pushed you into blocking, and so I'm going to throw. Mad King in his guide describes the fact that this ability is kind of hit or miss, because if your opponent just acts as if it's not there, there may not be any benefit to playing it. I always consider it in my valuation, because giving Quince additional cards, especially if he's on low hand, could be an easy way for him to escape sort of the hand like lockdown that Rook or any grappler can put him in, where you're throwing consistently. If you're hitting those throws, you're really denying his ability to have a lot of cards in hand. And the reason that's so important is because a lot of his attacks are let off by face cards. He doesn't get the benefit of normal draw in most places. His Patriot Mirror turns are very expensive because he's throwing 1 card away, whether he wins or loses the combat reveal. So in terms of what this means for Rook, so K throw is less valuable because generally Quince is going to reveal 5, 6, or 7. There's really nothing that Quince undercuts by playing a 3. So unless he's really willing to deal with rock armor and stuff like that, 3 is just not a very valuable combat reveal for Quince. Unless he feels that, I've scared you off of, or he's scared me off of throwing K, therefore he can throw the 3s in with more impunity and deal with some of my 4 reveals maybe. Generally very slow throws. You're always going to have, as Rook, you're always going to have a throw reveal that beats the K reveal. So any throw of speed 9 or faster, or faster than 9 is going to beat it. So you're always going to have that option. Rock armor is fairly useful because none of the enders that Quince has knock down. But again, you run the risk of possibly running into... You're mostly worried about running into Patriot Mirror because it's a recurring move that he can get. He can pull it back from the discard. Special blocks are very effective against Quince. The 5 especially is a good tool to deal with a heavy use of Patriot Mirror. It also really punishes just naked Js and Qs. They're fairly high damage options. The 3 deals 5 damage, speeds up my attacks, so you can set up some nice rock armor turns by using it. But it's not particularly revolutionary, I feel like, in this matchup. J and Q reveal from Rook are both good buttons because the J will undercut every attack option except for double ace. And the Queen deals good damage and is speed 2.6, so it ties with a J, and otherwise beats normals. It beats Patriot Mirror as well. So it's a good button to play raw as well in this matchup. And as I said, the Rook's double ace beats all attacks versus Quince. So without further ado, we'll get into the match, and we'll talk a little bit about what happened. So unfortunately, I don't have every single match in this series. This is actually the start of game 2. I lost game 1. I think it was fairly close. I don't think I had him within lethal by the end, but I felt okay about that first match. This second match was a wrecking, as you will soon see. So I believe here, looking at these options, I start off with double ace in hand. I don't have any convincing rock armor buttons. I do have a joker, which is very handy, and I have 2 special blocks, which is very nice. I'll be able to use that to hopefully catch some Patriot Mirror attempts. And because it denies block damage as well, you don't take any block damage when you successfully stonewall or use entangling binds, it prevents him from using his spin jitsu on you. So I believe with this hand, I'm just going to 9 block. Yeah. Need more cards. Nice, we catch a 6, that's great. So we go up several cards, and he's down at 6. Generally in the early game, so Quince can play a very convincing, like he wants to build hand. As I said, his Patriot Mirror turns and combat options are generally very card intensive. His Queen, the throw side of his Queen requires a lot of pumping. He does a lot of dodging generally because his attack reveals are so slow. So he's generally pretty card hungry, hence his 2 card drawing abilities on the 2 and the 10. So in the early game, I'm looking. We're playing that same kind of game. As Rook, I'm mostly blocking and throwing, and as Quince, he wants to punish my throws with fend off my throws with attacks, and do some throwing of his own to catch the blocks that I'm throwing in. At this point, I'm still, like, nothing significant about my my hand state has changed. I could attack with this with Hammer Fist and try to catch something, but I don't consider it likely. I'd probably just block again at this point. Oh, okay. Now things have changed slightly. I have 9 cards in hand. 10Q is very efficient rock armor combo. Would only be 4 cards lost, so I'd be down to 5, but I may be happy with that, so it's possible that I rock armor here as well. Especially since I played Mad King in recent memory, just in ranked online. So and at that point he was being really effective with his throws. So based on our history, it's conceivable that I go for a rock armor here. Yeah, I do. Please throw me. No. Okay. So that rare 3 reveal. Definitely trying to catch a throw, and he has nothing to follow it up with. He couldn't... Quince doesn't have any linkers, so the only thing he could follow it up in with would be some sort of face card, like a Q throw. And with 7 cards in hand, it's very unlikely. So it doesn't actually say anything about his hand quality. It might just say, I don't have a 5, which I would have preferred to play here. So I do rock armor. I'm a little uncomfortable. I'm definitely uncomfortable in this matchup. So there's a lot of decisions here that I make that are kind of questionable, which is one of the reasons that I'm reviewing. Yeah, a follow up. So I'm on low hand. I don't have any blocks now, any normal blocks to build hand with. It's possible at this point. Okay, so he's powering up for Patriot Mirror. So I know I have a 2.8 speed attack that's that knocks down to contend with. So at this point, I have to decide. Okay. Right, because he dealt me damage, he's able to positive spin. So he's revealed a J. So the safe option against it is a block. I don't have a normal block, and I probably don't feel like throwing that out. I may actually. I would prefer to lose the block to an honest J or a throw. Whereas if I throw another 10, I'm not doing myself like I could catch a throw, I guess, but it seems very unlikely. On 5 cards, you probably want to reveal this because Quince gets to draw a card for spinning it, whether he wins or loses. And I'm not going to risk AA on a positive spin turn where there's a dodge in play. That just I'll save this for neutral. So I actually have a reason for not immediately throwing AA here, although it could have been a good first turn reveal. Okay, thank goodness I'm saved the agonizing decision of what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to throw this 9 as a block. Yeah. Okay, so he's being tricksy. So the thing with I don't get the sense that they're right. It's heavily weighted in Quince's favor. This is to compensate for the fact that he has such slow attacks and throws. That he gets to play these mind games, and he definitely gets the better of me over these set of matches. But it's fun playing Quince. I don't feel like this matchup is particularly lopsided. He's got a lot of life to chew through. So do I. But you know, the interaction between the two things, and the guessing game is actually kind of fun. It can be frustrating if you're looped, which I believe happens to me fairly often in this set. In any case, he successfully says that I'm going to play conservative. I make a call that he's going to play conservative and instead get thrown, which is smart. Now that I think about it, he may have been incentivized to do this because I'm on low hand. So if I punish this with a throw, that's fine. He's only going to take another 10 damage. That's not an unreasonable life deficit, although it's getting there. And it's unlikely I'm going to attack just because I have such low hand, and even if I did have a 10 and another Q, for instance, it's riskier for me to attack into a J, and he calls my bluff. So I think even on pure valuation, this might be just the correct play to do against a fairly low hand Rook. So you're going to combo, he gets the knockdown, he's going to have positive spin again because he dealt damage, and I'm in a knockdown state. This isn't particularly, it's not as relevant whether I'm knocked down against Quince because Rook has no dodges. It is relevant though in the fact that he still gets the benefit of a mix-up normal. So at this point, what does he reveal? Okay, reveals the J again. So again, my safest option is to block. I have 2 special blocks. In this situation, wondering what the correct call is. I probably just put the special block in. It's possible. Yeah, I want to hang on to the 10. I'm fairly sure I can get out of this at some point, so I'm probably just going to special block. Okay, here we go. First 2 truths, so he's gonna get a whole bunch of options from his discard, and then he adds 2 from his deck, and then he shuffles those up and puts them in a position for me to select them. So I can either give him access to a king throw, so a different kind of mix-up, or I can give him another J. So if I give him another J and a 6, I don't really care about the 6 too much. It's possible that he's completing a straight, but I expect I give him the smaller pile. I don't want to give him a different option from the one I know he has. If he only has J's in hand, then fine. At least I only have to deal with that. I don't have to deal with the fact that he may do some sort of other Quince mind game. So long as I have a sense of what's in his hand, it limits the potential damage that he can deal to me. So I probably give him the lower card pile. So at this point, yeah, I'm pretty sure I just block here. Yeah. Mixes up with the 6. The 6 that I gave him. I didn't actually notice that earlier. That's pretty cheeky. Very nice. I'll just let him combo me. 6-7J. Sure. 22 damage. Life is even. He's got... we're fairly even on cards. My damage potential is definitely lower than his in this situation. He's got positive spin again. He's still got the J. At this point, I probably want to throw just to remain, just so that I'm not I'd rather lose the throw to the actual J than lose the special block, because I'd like to hang on to that in neutral. So I believe I throw here. I'm happier to give up the 6 than I am any of the other cards. Yeah. Yeah. And that's fair. Just reveals it. At least he doesn't get to draw the card. Deals me 9 damage. It's positive spin again. Okay, queen. So at this point, with this queen, I'm almost certainly going to Wall of Vines, because it beats the queen, but if it's a Patriot Mirror setup, I also beat that. Or I can try with the 4, but that gets scooped by the Patriot Mirror, so I believe I have Wall of Vines here. Oh, no, okay. And it's just a block. So that would have felt deeply uncomfortable. The block may have been an attempt to either to deal with, well, any attack, right? A rock armor attempt there is fairly reasonable. I can throw a 6, 7, 8 if he actually reveals it, if I have that straight at hand, which would deal a fair chunk of damage, put him at 49. And would also get me additional resources. So not inconceivable that he's trying to bait a 10 or any kind of fast attack, actually. So a J would also hurt me. So it's entirely possible, because he knows he showed me the power up. So I'm aware that there's at least one ace in hand. So I could have he could have anticipated that I thought he was going to play AA, in which case Wall of Vines would have beaten that. So I think it's a good bait, and it gets him the additional card, and he gets to hang on to the queen for a later time. And throwing is really disincentivized there, because that queen as a starter is a 12 damage starter, is really gonna put the hurt, bring the hurt. 2 truths again, so getting more resources in hand. Okay, so once again, I believe I choose the smaller pile. He's got a queen in hand, and then I'll give him a J. I would rather do that than give him the ability to... Although on the other hand, I think I give him the J, the safer option. Yeah. It's a smaller card pile anyway, and I'm relatively happy with that decision. And he gets to keep a very safe spin reveal that he can use for a lot of mind games, probably get a lot of mileage out of, but I still feel more comfortable giving him that than anything else. Which again may be a mistake. I would have to play this matchup a lot more to really get a sense of the value that those cards have. A lot of it also depends on his hand, so it's kind of a when in doubt, maybe choose the... I'll give him the more conservative option, probably. Yeah. I had the 2, played the 2. And as a result, I'm going to eat just a ton of damage. So that's 16 right off the bat. I'm not convinced that he doesn't have another ace. So at this point, the smartest thing to do would just be would be bluff, I think. But I think I combat reveal the Joker, or no, okay, I let it rock. Oh, that's right. In the first game, I believe I threw the Joker on top. So I think at least learn from that lesson. So pretty good life lead for Mad King at this point. I do have double ace, which will help me catch up, but I am definitely in the spin zone here. So again, revealing J. The past couple of times, so the first time he went for the throw, the second time he was honest and played the J. Still got 7 cards in hand. I believe I probably block here. I don't have a good rock armor. I could try for the K, but I probably want to... I never feel comfortable playing a high value card into these spins, which, I mean, is their purpose, right? It makes you play more conservatively, or it makes you play more aggressively, and then it's up to Quince to kind of read that tendency in his opponent, or the Quince player. And Mad King definitely gets the better of me in this set. So I choose the conservative option and just block. And he cycles the card, and we're out of spin. At this point, I believe I AA him. With 9 cards in hand, I don't think that he's going to block. It's possible that I believe he anticipates this and is able to deal with it. At this point, I might just J, actually. J into 10. I'd rather hang on to the AA. Or I just attack with a 4. Block with a 4. Okay. Yeah, more cards is more better. Just choosing to put more options in hand. 8 versus 9 cards. He has to get in. I would probably block again in this situation. It's either a block or a throw. Because it's still likely that at this point, with this many cards in hand, that he would dodge. I think dodge is a pretty good option for him. So I would go with one of these. Flagstone tax. Okay, he doesn't want me to attack, or he wants me to think that he wants me not to attack. He's at 9 cards in hand, so there's no reason for me to respect it. But just giving free cards away is never a good idea. It's possible that I lean into this with a jack. Okay. So, so what was the reasoning there? Possibly just trying to throw some smoke, just like confuse the issue and make me think about this rather than whether he has the other ace. Having the other ace as well is not entirely expected, because he's just played two, so I probably feel that I'm not anticipating this as a likely combat reveal. As I said, the option for me was kind of king or throw or block. So since I was already going to do one of those things, I'm just glad I didn't lose the king, even though it's not great in this matchup, still deals more damage, so more comeback potential. So I'm on my ass, and he's got Patriot Mirror, so he gets to actually reveal two options. At this point, I either go for a 4 or a 5, I think, or a possible just get off me J, because I'd rather get deal with a single combat reveal card when he... I'm anticipating a dodge and normal attack mix-up. He's at a quite good lead. He doesn't really need to make anything happen. I need to respond and get my digs in. So I would probably be happy to reveal a J, and he's probably happy to play more conservative is my estimation of what he's going to do. Yeah, okay. So this tells me he doesn't have any dodges, because there's no... I can't think of a good reason why this would be a block otherwise. But yeah, so it was a not as good version of the setup that I thought it was going to be. So thankfully, the worst he gets is a card off of this, and I at least deal 2 damage. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. I'm out of the spin. K would have been an awful option. Double ace would have been an awful option. And just blocking would have put me in a 50-50. And the reward for guessing correctly would have been dealing him 5 damage, which is nothing. I'd rather save this for neutral and try to catch something bigger. So he still wins. At this point, with 9 cards in hand versus 10, he's got 3 aces in the discard. I probably panic Wall of Vines. The smart thing to do would probably be J instead. No, K throw. Yeah, I mean, it's K is good. Play K. There's no real... So the reason for the K throw is on 9 cards. It's not inconceivable that I would rock armor. Therefore, I want to punish his reaction to that. And he just says no, deals me 9 damage. Again, at 33 life, it's debatable how good... Like, rock armor really isn't that big a threat, because even if I'm dealing max damage, he can probably whittle through 33 life faster than I can bring him down to 0 with rock armor attempts. So this is rapidly becoming an unwinnable situation for me, or a very, very, very difficult situation for me to deal with. At this point, I AA. I'm almost positive. AA or Jack. Yeah. So that was the reveal slow queen, try to bait, slow response, undercut with Patriot Mirror. But instead it is he who is undercut, for once. So that feels pretty good. And at least I won't die with AA in my hands. It's always a bonus. 2 truths come out, so he's going to get a bunch of cards back. I definitely give him this pile. I don't want to give him any more face cards. He's got enough face cards already. Also, he's got the 5 and the 6 there, so I feel like he's incentivized to play the straight. So I have my 4 as a response. Doesn't end up working out, because he plays the 3. And I face down, bluff. He has, I face down there because he has it's known that he has the queen in hand, so he can pump that for 17 damage and really wreck face. So I just wanted to make him think about it. Give me a little bit more breathing room. Plus it'll hopefully make the next Joker, a little less convincing and get him to play into it. Gets rid of the 5s for an ace. At this point I probably special block. Either special block or jack. And I'm pushed off my special block as a combat reveal because he's spinning K. This could be an honest K. I don't want to eat either side of that because it gets me really close to death. So I almost certainly respond with a J here, which I believe he anticipates. No. Okay, I actually just try to throw him. Yeah, so I'm anticipating that he would respond with a dodge, but with 11 cards in hand and who knows how many options in there, it's playing it straight makes a lot of sense. More sense than playing some sort of needless mind game. So he gets the queen for free, and I Joker immediately. At least get some more cards in hand. But I'm definitely in trouble here. 48 life. I'm going to hang on to all of these. I don't believe I power these up. Because they beat almost every option except for double ace. And he has 3 aces in the discard, so it's not really a concern right now. Dead is dead, and I need... it's possible I get another pair that I'm happier to power up with, so I'm going to play for the not so long game. Yeah, and I just mash J at this point. It's great. Now definitely has consent of the governed, the AA attack as an option. At this point I special block, and I believe he throws me for the win. Hoping that he gets greedy and just plays it raw, but there's no reason for him to do that. K throw, game over. GG. So yeah, 50 health. Yeah, it took him 52 health to deal 100 to me. Exactly 100. So 2 losses in a row. I'm definitely on tilt. I've been playing fairly conservative, except for that rock armor attempt early that put me at 5 cards. So I know I need to change something up, and I'm anticipating that he's going to try to pour salt in the wounds and therefore play a bit more aggressive. So he has tended to stay away from throwing in the early game unless it's covered by a spin of some kind. So I feel like he's going to play a little more risky because I'm playing so conservative, and so I'm going to change my range up a little bit. I'm going to go way more aggressive, and we'll see how it works out in the next match. So if I quit here. So this is game 3. I'm down 2 at this point. Again, I didn't, the last match was erased. I open with a ton of throws. I've got a block option, and I've got some nice Q stuff. At this point, I either 2-throw or raw queen. I believe I 2-throw. Or even K-throw. Okay, no, never mind. Wow, all that build up and it was entirely wrong. But I believe, yeah, at this point I'm thinking that he's going to throw attempt. So I believe I counter throw. Okay, no, block, that's right. Okay, so he attacked with a 5, tried to block, so that tells me that I feel like that's an indicator that he doesn't have too many good cards in hand. I think I'm not sure how correct that is, but I believe the sense I got was that was kind of an odd play for him. So I feel like I need to push my advantage here. So I believe I K throw or I queen into this knockdown, anticipating some sort of normal attack response. No, okay, king would have worked. I'm going to try to stop remembering what happened in this match and actually just talk about the value. How about that? I think I'll look less silly. So I've got 3 9s, good power-up options. So he attacked, he blocked, he attacked. I probably throw again and throw with the 6. I do have the straight here. Or it's possible I'd probably king throw at this point. 2 throw all day. Yeah. Okay, catch another block. At this point, I feel like there is something to the hand quality argument. So he's attacked twice with normals and then blocked. And I've gotten the advantage, so I'm up a fair chunk of health. So it's conceivable to try to rock armor on the next turn, especially since I have the lesser man's 10. I've got the 8 into queen, which is fairly efficient. Although I don't have anything to discard to the 8. I only have that 6 there. So I probably wait until... Nope, there we go. Almost certainly 8 here. And I have 4 9s, one of which I'm happy to convert into rock armor potential. Okay, 3 5 and the 4. Here I just deny whatever pile he puts the Joker in, he's not getting. Which is great. Good start. It's 1 less gold burst. Again, with 90 health, he's not too concerned about blue bursting to prevent combat damage, because he's only ever going to get 14 at a maximum. So definitely gold burst is much more likely. He's knocked down. I've given him a 3 and a 5. Last time I gave him a 3 and a 5, he attacked with the 3. So I believe I K throw here. Or I try to undercut both of them with a queen, because I don't anticipate that he's actually going to block. And he gives me another 4. I'm very happy to deal that damage. Feeling in a much better position right now. Powering up for an ace. 2 aces. Fairly certain that I queen, because I don't believe that he's going to raw AA. No, okay, I thought it was a throw setup. Which doesn't really make a lot of sense, but I've got the Joker as a backup. I'm happy to take the damage at this point. Sure, it puts me in the zone, or into the spin zone, but 90 health to 55 gives me plenty of time to get out of it. Yep, and I power up here just to show him the aces, to try to influence... Again, with 2 games down, and especially in the second game, I was tilting pretty hard. I was playing really quickly, not thinking too much about my options. So I want to at least put it in his mind that I'm just going to throw the ace, so that he picks something conservative. And then I'm actually going to throw. So I powered up for the aces. I'm counting on him not believing that I'm going to play them. Believing that I'm going to play them and play something and react to it. And I believe he does a throw and dodge mix-up here, which my 6 is going to take care of. So he puts his fast throw on there too, which is a nice snipe for me. And further down, health he goes. I have a couple of options here. I don't have great payoff. I believe I will try to rock armor with the 7 and discard the Q and the ace, anticipating a block and hoping that it's an even block. Quince is really heavily weighted to his blocks being on the even cards, so he only has the 5 and the 9 as odd blocks. So that's probably what I go for. I'm not too happy throwing those away though. If I had to choose a combat option again, I would probably just throw one of these queens. Like just attack with it and try to undercut. Anticipating a wake up normal of some kind. Special block. Yeah, it's fair. Pays off really nicely. Draw another special block. Possibly just play it again, or go for a throw at this point. No. Catch the queen, so I'm feeling really, really good about that. He definitely needs to make something happen. Each of those options, even if I had just blocked, I would have taken the chip and at least gotten back into spin. But now I'm sitting on 9 cards and he's got 5. So at this point, probably, yeah, recognizing that it's a tough situation for him to be in, probably just go for a throw. I believe I give him the queen. I don't want to give him more dodges with the strong attack reveals that I have. And I don't want to give him a very conservative option. This is his fastest throw. It's not as much of an important decision in here as it would be. Although, no, you know what? No, I'd give him this pile. And the reason I do is that he's at 5. He will be at 8 cards, but I don't want to give him more ability to power cards, especially because I do let this influence my decision. So it's possible that he's using that, has recognized that tendency. He's put 2 cards that I'm more scared of, essentially, in that pile based on my previous choices. I'm going to pick that. Yeah, so I do give him the larger pile just to eliminate kind of the high payoff option of the queen and the card generating option of the 10. I believe I just AA here. Nope. Get the scoop. That's nice. I'm going to definitely pump on this because it doesn't make any sense not to. Especially with no face down. I think he recognizes that this is essentially a lost game and there's really no sense in prolonging the agony. So at 5 health, I special block here. Or, yeah, no. If he attacks with something lower than a 5, it's not going to be lethal. So get the special block kill with a 3. I'm feeling pretty happy about that. I've got a bit of my mojo back. That game was more about him not being able to get anything going. I'm actually going to go back to the earlier parts of the game just to see if my assessment of him kind of having a shitty draw is accurate. So at this point I have blocked his 5. Just want to see what possible. Yeah, okay, that's pretty terrible. He's got the single face card that Rook is singularly equipped to just crush all the time. So if I had just essentially thrown continuously, I would have been doing just fine. King throw was a very strong option. But these are the kinds of things. I mean, I felt like the second time he blocked, then the second time he blocked was really an indicator that he was stuck on a pretty god-awful hand, and thankfully I was able to take advantage of it. So I wasn't playing him at his best just because of the tools that he had at his disposal, and took the win as a result. So we'll move into the last game, and I just want to this one I think is actually fairly quick in spite of the length of it. So we're not going to spend too much time on this one. I believe I 10 attack right off the bat. Nope. Okay. Yeah, okay, go for the throw. So I feel like now, after that last game, he's being a little more aggressive, and that throw is an indicator. I do something really dumb here, and fairly quickly in the match go down to incredibly low hand, which pays off for a while. I've got the double ace button on deck, but I do believe that I 10 attack here. Yeah. And everything else in this game is kind of a response. All my successes in this game are credited, or in this particular match, are credited to the fact that I go low hand, and there's a really heartbreaking finish. So I'm gonna skip kind of to. I'm gonna talk a little bit about my reasoning here. Okay, so he's gone down to 4 cards. I feel like he's tilting, because that seems like really short. It seems really short-sighted to go that low on cards against a character with 100 health. And so I just want to, I think the only reason I actually rock armor here is just to indicate that I don't care, just to make him pay for it. And I don't want to sit the 10 out, which, questionable. Yeah, so I don't pump the additional card because that would really put me incredibly low. And now Quince on low hand has, I feel like I put him in a difficult decision, or a difficult position. I have 3 cards in hand. I've been playing fairly conservative in the first 2 games. I don't think that I did anything too crazy in the last game. I think I opened up my throw range a little bit more, to some success, and basically capitalized on a terrible hand of his. So I want to put him in a position where he thinks that that was a tilt move, or just a mistake, and now he's going to be able to throw me for free. So the very next move I play is definitely going to be the throw. Yeah, I'm happy to throw here with 5 cards on deck, unless he has just incredible card quality, like 3 of those are aces, and I know 1 of them is a king, so it seems very unlikely. The king reveal is, I think, an invitation for me to make a mistake and do anything but throw him. So I oblige by throwing. Can't remember if I do it with the 6 or the 7. Probably throw with the 7 here, because the 6 is always I feel a more valuable card, because it starts off and can put you into the straight. The 7, it's kind of a 50-50 there. Okay, so he puts a few more resources in hand. I'm going to give him the I don't know. I probably don't want to give him this pile. Getting rid of 2 truths is effective too, but essentially he's getting a 6 for free. Probably this is the better pile to give, because again, he's just going to immediately 2 truths again and pick up probably 3 more cards. Yeah, so deny the 2 truths, give him a whole bunch of options, and I'm counting on the fact that because that he thinks I'm going to react to the fact that he now has Q in hand and can really punish a throw of his king. But I throw anyway. On low hand, I think the incentive for him to throw is much higher than anything else. And it could be, again, all of this is entirely speculation. It makes a lot of sense to me to do what I did there. But Mad King could have just as easily been, have essentially decided and said, done whatever sense of valuation that he has or read he has on me, and happened to pick wrong there. I don't think I got out of that because I was smart. It was just the most valuable play that I could make at the time. I don't want to risk punishing a queen with double ace anyway, and there's nothing that, like, if he just plays a 5 attack, that's going to beat any of those combat reveals as well. So at this point, I believe I throw again. Either I throw again or I Q into knockdown. Yeah, so the throw would have been effective as well. But the Q says I don't have another... The Q says I'm worried, which I am. I'm dealing with a pretty good life lead, like 27 is all right, but I'm still in a very real danger here. And the Q, like playing the Q and having played the Q, could also give him a misleading read on my hand quality. Like the fact that I'm going to hold on to these aces for much longer than I ordinarily would, just because it's so unlikely for me to have them in hand. Although, watch me just play them next turn. Okay. I'm never going to reveal this 7 attack. I'm either kinging or 7ing. And I believe I will king because I'm pushing him towards using a 3. I think. King is just a safer option. If he decides to play a 3, like 3 is the only thing that it beats that a 7 wouldn't. But I'll take that chance to put him at a much lower health total. Although I might just double ace here. No. Scoop the king. Doing great right now. Don't worry, tragedy is coming. 7-8. Block here. I've done enough. Yeah, okay, so he just, at this point, if I just had the guts to continue 10 throw, or continue throwing. But I still think the block, even though it lost there, was a fine combat reveal. Although it does leave me in a position where I no longer have a conservative option to deal with a J reveal. Yeah, which... Against 3 cards, that seems like really good. And I think I'm going to special block here. I'm almost certain. I'm going to give him this pile because I don't want to deal with him getting additional aces with the 9s. And king and 7 are both beaten by my 7 throw and my 3 throw. So I just want to get out of the J-spin. And I think because he's so low on health that he's going to play the more conservative option, which is the J, rather than try to throw again. So to deal with the typical response to safe option. So I'm happy to do that. And he can't even continue spinning, even with his 8-card hand, because my special block will prevent block damage. And he definitely doesn't want to be knocked down and 5 more life in the hole. So it takes the spin. So in spite of my incredibly low hand here, it's kind of paying off for me because it's been adjusting his range to be much more throw heavy, and I've been able to punish that. I mean, any throw I draw with Rook is going to be a good punish of that. At this point, I believe I AA. No, 5 block. 5 block all the way. Oh no, never mind. This loss was really tough to take. It was really brutal, and I believe I die with AA in hand even. Yeah. So this one time, actually holding on to those aces for forever did pay off. Although I lose that that distinction by going on to lose this game with AA in hand, with a second pair of aces in hand, which is just awful. At this point, I'm throwing because I'm continually considering him. I still expect him to be throwing heavily, but he's definitely moved off that range, and I just haven't adjusted to that. So he gets 2 aces in hand. I have essentially no choice but to respond with a block. I throw there just in case he's going for a AA throw mix-up, but the 5 is a much more conservative option, because even if I block it, I go up 1 card. I'm still on terrible card hand, and he still has 10 cards and some time to do what he needs. Again, I'm still thinking that his range is much throw heavier than it actually is. And he has no incentive to block or dodge really at this point. Getting that damage. He now has 3 aces in hand at least. So I'm almost certainly, yeah, so I basically react to this with a block. Any of these combats, if I had been a little more daring, like if I 8 attack here, I believe I win. No, sorry, if I had 3 thrown, I would have won. But I was expecting the 3 aces in hand are going to push me off of what I should be doing, for fear of getting hit with 30 damage and putting me at 22. But 22 versus 6 is still a pretty good position for me to be in, so I really should have been far riskier earlier on. And the rest of the match doesn't really bear commentating. All of my decision making, I basically lose every combat from here on out. I believe I go for a 4 attack here. Nope. Actually successfully block the bait. Get the ace in hand. And the rest of it just doesn't work out for me. So I'm going to call it there. Actually, no, let's just finish this one off. It doesn't last too much longer. So he goes again. At this point, I believe I respond with a 4 attack. No, 4 block. Okay, block the second double ace. So I do make some okay decisions. But it's just, he's in my head. And here is the beginning of the end, because I've decided to pick up the second ace, and I consistently do not play it. I believe the winning option for the next 4 combats is double ace. Except for the last one where I actually play it and he dodges for the win. Sorry, skipping past these a little too fast. So I end up giving him the J and the K. That is almost certainly a mistake. It gives him additional dodge. Well, this one gives him dodges too. I guess it gives him some blocks and throws. He's on fairly low cards. Every card in this pile can be beaten by a throw, is the reason that I think it's a mistake. Whereas this gives him his safest spin option, which is going to allow him to do work. Right now, he's revealing queen and either playing queen or playing against it, but it is definitely the high risk, high reward option, which ends up paying. I mean, it definitely works out for him, but I think backed with this additional strong attack option, it really plays against me and lets him get the win. So, first combat reveal where AA would have won. For huge damage. No, I guess it doesn't even last that long. Yeah, so king reveal. So here's the thing. King is a 9-speed throw. I have a 9. At this point, I feel like it's way more likely he's just going to play the J. And even if I block, I'm going to be continuously stuck in the cycle. So I throw, and he actually just plays the king. Spin, dodge, 7 damage. GG's. Definitely a lot for me to learn in this match. Need to spend... I think this is one of those matches where no matter how much you do on paper, you just have to play it. And a lot of it comes down to their read on you and your read on them. Just happened to not turn out that way. Pretty close. I think I would have been happier if I could have pushed it to a 5th match. But good games nevertheless. Thanks for the matches, thanks for watching, and have a great day, and I'll see you again next time.